Like a Hellcat.
Hello viewers, welcome to another video on the channel. Today we will be reviewing not one, but two snapshots since I missed last week's snapshot. I did not miss it, I just never got around to recording. So today we will be reviewing 22W14A and the latest one, 22W15A. Let's actually start off with the new background panorama. As you can see, in the main screen, it is now the Mangrove Swamp instead of those 1.18 mountains that it was in the full release. And it looks amazing. But I wonder, are we still getting fireflies? Because I am not seeing any fireflies in this panorama. Although, that also means that there are no fireflies in this snapshot either. But I'm loving this panorama. I was really, questioning myself to see if they would go the Deep Dark route or the Mangrove Swamp. And they chose the Mangrove Swamp as the new background for the update. And it looks amazing. Definitely makes the update feel wild right as you load up the game. Alright, now let's head into a world and check out the other changes. Renewable Clay. It is here. So all you have to do is place mud on top of any type of solid block that has pointed dripstone underneath. And the pointed dripstone will drain out the mud, the water inside the mud, and turn into clay eventually. But do note that it does not work like this. You cannot have mud directly on top of a pointed dripstone. It has to be on top of any solid block like these three here. So let's actually bump up the random tick speed to show you that this does actually work. How about 500? Good enough, right? Yep. No sound though, which is odd for Minecraft these days. But yeah, there we go. We got clay now. And as you can see, this mud right here did not turn to clay. So you're gonna wanna do this now. So you can just forget about this design idea and focus more on the right way to do it. And of course, you can just take your clay and then put more mud there. Oh, that was fast. It should be because my tick speed is up. And if we were just at the normal random tick speed, which would be 3 on Java Edition, I think it takes about 6 minutes for my off-camera testing. So, kind of fast, but not the fastest. Oh wow, actually, did I miss this one? Or did that already drain? I was not paying attention, but we are on normal tick speed now. So, like anything else, it is, well, a random tick, so it will turn into clay eventually, and you can always have this one mud that is taking forever to turn into clay. Honestly, I am surprised this has not been a change already. So carpets, there has been changes to vibrations in this snapshot, and basically that just has to do with carpets. So if we were to place down the carpet, they will no longer trigger vibrations, and if we were to break it, that would be the same. But please be warned that this does not work for the moss carpet. As you can see, placing it sends vibrations, as well as breaking it. This also means if you just walk on the wool, it will also, or the carpet I should say, to be more specific for this change, walking on the carpet is not causing any vibrations, but walking on the moss carpet does trigger vibrations. That makes those carpet bridge things found in the Deep Dark City more useful to walk on now. A change to the note block has been reverted that we got a couple snapshots ago. So previously when you put wool or carpet on top of a note block, it would stop the noise instead of any other block. But as you can see, this is still the case, but you also no longer get note blocks playing a sound when you have any type of block on top. So this change was probably reverted due to redstone mechanics with the Allay. In the last snapshot, the Ancient Cities has gotten a new unique loot item, which maybe we can find here. Nope, but we did find the other unique loot here. Also, I wonder why this Sculk sensor is considered too far away to activate a Sculk Shrieker. Anyway, nope, not in here. So, not in here, but it is somewhere in the ancient city, I would assume. This chest, if I can reach it. Ah, yes. So the new item is called Echo Shards. So you can find these in the ancient city chests, and only in the ancient city chests. And as you probably saw, I got a new recipe unlocked that allowed me to craft what seems to be like a UFO compass, or just a Sculk compass. But if you have 8 of these, you can actually craft a singular new item called the Recovery Compass, which is right here. We will get to the Recovery Compass in just a bit, but let me just show you how you craft it. So the Echo Shard is skulky looking, looks like it's made from the Sculk. Not sure why it is not just called Sculk Shard, but anyway, have 8 of these surrounding a compass, and then you get your Recovery Compass. Note that you are not able to find the Recovery Compass in the loot chests, only the Echo Shards that are found in the chests. You are probably wondering where this compass is pointing to. It is actually pointing to my last death point. While recording this video, I died a lot to the Warden, so north, or whatever that, let's see, east. So it's pointing directly east, and if we continue to go that way, it will take us to our last death point, and the last death point, not like the 2 before the last death point. And if you were to just put this on the ground, it will randomly spin, and that is the same if you put it in any type of item frame. So it has to be held by a player in order to point. But if you have not died in your world yet, it will also randomly spin. Same if you died in a different dimension, then let's say you are in the Nether but you died in the overworld. Then, if you had this in the Nether, it would randomly spin, but once you return to the overworld, then it will point to your last overworld death. Actually, let's go into a dimension real quick. So, we died in the overworld, so let's just sit block, and then let's just go to the Nether. This also is the case for the end too, but if we were to go to the Nether, I am now in the Nether, and as you can see, the Recovery Compass is now spinning rapidly like a normal compass would in the Nether. But if I were to die in the Nether, then it would try to point to my death in the Nether. So if we were to just kill myself here, and then grab a Recovery Compass in the overworld, it is now just randomly spinning in the overworld. Because we now died in the Nether, that was our last death point, so where it was pointing before in the overworld no longer will be directed to us. But if we were to go into the Nether again, and once we are loaded in, we can see that it is now pointing somewhere in the Nether and not spinning rapidly. Pretty cool. Although this is very useless in hardcore mode, so I'm not sure why a hardcore player would even craft this. Maybe there needs to be something special for the hardcore players. That means like a unique loot in the ancient city for hardcore players. That would probably also be useful in survival, but hey, I mean, I feel like these 2 unique items are not enough anyway. But definitely still worth to go to the ancient city at least one time. So this is where I last died, and if we were just to pass the spot, it would turn around. So it is trying to tell me that I died right here, and if I just circle around it, if I circle around my death point that is, the compass will also circle. Turning this way, it just points behind me, and if I go in front of it, it points in front of me. So if you collect your stuff, does it just stop pointing? No, it will always point me here until I die somewhere else. So remember that bug where structures that contained Allay in it were not loading properly? Well, that has been fixed for a little while now, so we can now go to an outpost or woodland mansion to have a chance to find the Allay. Oh, apparently must be very high up. Ah, it's one of the mountain ones. Got it. Let's just wait for it to load in and see if there are any cages. Wait, are you telling me this one has, like, no cages? Oh, it's also right next to an igloo. Well, this has been unlucky. No cages in this one. It's literally just the outpost. Unless it got buried because of generation. Actually, they have their little wood thing right there. Yeah, we might need a new outpost. So, the Allay that spawn with the outposts only spawn in certain cages, which we will try to find today. And as for the Woodland Mansion, they only spawn in that prison room you may remember that used to be empty. So let's just teleport myself very far away. Locate it again. Okay, here I am. This is completely new. Seems better. Oh, hey! So we got 3 cages here. Wow, we actually have one of each cage. So we have the empty cage, we have the iron golem cage, and then we have the Allay cage, which is actually boxed off with some of the dark oak fences. And it seems like we get 2 in each cage. Alright, good. We found Allay here. Yeah, these are definitely a rare creature. And also... yeah, so it seems like all the cages in this outpost are just merged together like this. We got 1 of each. Never actually saw that before. But freeing the Allay allows you to, well, have Allay. If they want to escape. Yeah, I feel like the Allay are better on Bedrock Edition than Java, because on Bedrock they just get right out once you let them free, and have better animations. But on Java, they're like, oh, you freed me? I guess that is good. Oh, there you go. Here, take an item. Alright, good, so we can now finally get our Allay in survival mode. Let me try to show off Woodland Mansion now. So let's go to... or I think it's just called Mansion. Yeah, right there. So that's not that far away from here. I think we might need to go into spectator mode for this one. So let's see. Any Allay here? I hope the recording is not lagging like it sometimes does. Not seeing any Allay here. Oh, I heard Allay. I heard them. Okay, there are Allay here, for sure. Okay, I heard Allay, I know I did. And I think I saw it in the subtitles too. Okay, so we got first try here. Maybe if we just... I don't know, how would we be able to see? Is this it? No, this is that other room with stone in it. Oh, here we are. Alright, so I think you can only get 1 of these rooms per Woodland Mansion, and if you are unlucky, 0. So let's just light this area up, because it is pretty dark in here. The Allay definitely make a nice glow in here, right? We also have a Vindicator guarding. So we have... seems to be 4 cages. How many do we have in this one? 1, 2. Okay, you can be free. This one has 3 Allay, wow, okay. We got more in a smaller cage. And this one has 2 Allay. And the final cage has 1 Allay. Oh yeah, so this room is jackpot of Allay. If you can, try to go to the Woodland Mansion for your Allays instead of the outposts, because there seem to be a lot more in the Woodland Mansion if you get lucky. Oh boy, there have been some pretty amazing changes to the Warden, but before we talk about that, let's talk about some Sculk Shrieker fixes. So if you were to activate one, and then just run away, or fly away in this case, the Warden would still summon, but that was strike 1, so all it did was a heartbeat, and it would have given us the darkness effect if we were in survival mode. And if we were to activate it again, but instead break it while active, if you heard that, it actually kind of rushed the summoning process as we broke it. So breaking it no longer cheeses the ability to not summon the Warden. Well, this is a sad change. Sculk Shriekers, both the ones that naturally spawn and the ones you get, can no longer be activated with redstone signals. Alright, so I'm going to go into peaceful mode to show off another Sculk Shrieker change. But first, let's do this one that a player placed down. So this is a player placed Sculk Shrieker. You obviously just saw me place it down. Stepping on it, it will shriek no problem, and nothing happens because that is the point of this different Sculk Shrieker. But this is a Warden summoning Sculk Shrieker that spawned naturally in this city, so if we were to just make noise, it will no longer activate. That is because in peaceful mode, Sculk Shriekers that naturally generate will no longer activate, instead of making all those Warden sounds when it is done shrieking. So I guess the Deep Dark is now less scary without the Warden and shrieks going off everywhere. But please do not just cheese that by going to peaceful mode. You know better, right? And a final Sculk Shrieker change, other than there's been a texture change to it where it's no longer squished. I'm not sure what that means, but the top texture is no longer squished now, I guess. So let's grab a horse. This could be anything rideable. So the final bug fix for the Sculk Shrieker is that now you can indeed activate a Sculk Shrieker when riding a mob, and in this case I'm riding a horse, so if we go over here, Sculk Shrieker activates. And that was 3 times, so we will now get a Warden. Oh, there it is. Alright, but I think it is time to get into the Warden news now, so let's go ahead and do that. There just had to be a little aquifer here to ruin the centerpiece of the city, huh? I wonder why. Why? Is this even considered the Deep Dark up here? Ah, no, that's the problem. This is that old growth birch forest, which, speaking of the birch forest, I thought that was getting updated. Anyway, of course, we just had to have this little stupid lava aquifer that ruined the Deep Dark City. Like, this is the main reason why the ancient city has generation problems, just saying. Anyway, enough of those distraction things that cause this. Let's get into the Warden news after I say that this single chest in the middle is no longer a golden carrot, it is now a golden apple. So, when you bump into the Warden, it immediately notices you. But in the last snapshot, 22W14A, this has been changed to now apply for any type of mob. So Creeper. Oh, let's just put them here. Yep, he bumped into him. Now the Warden is angry. Oh dear. Go ahead and get him the walk. Let's just drop it there. That's probably just a vibration, so... Oh yep, as you can see, he's making the interesting noise thing, or noticing noise. Yeah, so... kinda hard to show since they all walk around, but... actually, let's try something. So let's just drop the Warden here. And then drop the Warden on top of it. I mean the Creeper. Whoops. Let's try another Creeper. As you can see, it's making a lot of noticing sounds because they all keep running into the... So I hope you get the idea now. Any mob, every single mob, even the player still, if it bumps into the Warden, it is automatically doomed. This is actually an older change, but I forgot to talk about it. So Wardens, they can now pass over rails if it stops sniffing. Yep, as you can see, no problem. No longer can cheese it just by trapping it in some thin-looking rails. I think the Warden is the only mob that can pass the rails, actually. Apart from the flying mobs, of course. Wardens also no longer make their takes notice sound when taking damage, which got noisy when it did. The vertical range Wardens get angry at a target while sniffing is now 20 blocks instead of 6 blocks. Wardens now have a greater sniffing range, so let's actually see that in action. So stepping far away from it, it is sniffing and it should come over here now. Yeah, you can hear it walking towards me. So it has a greater sniffing range, but not only that, but it can now, like, notice you better when it sniffs. Like, instead of 6 blocks, 20. So if we get closer, it should notice me. I don't really understand what that means. It seems normal, but yeah. So it can still hear you from 16 blocks away, I believe. Yeah, that seems accurate. But if we were to just, we have to sneak away or else it'll hear us. So this is going to be slow. So if we go, like, down this hill. And like all the way, like, how about here? We cannot see it because of the darkness effect, but it's all the way up on the hill. And yeah, as you can see, if you do notice, the Warden indeed has a greater sniffing range. I'm not sure how many times I said that. So when the Warden does not sense anything for 60 seconds, it will go back into... But previously, before these two snapshots, the Warden digging animation sound was actually incorrect. But that has been fixed, and now the Warden digging sound is now correct. And it sounds exactly how it did in the experimental Deep Dark Snapshot. So let me show that off in a more quieter pace than this. Wardens no longer despawn when you get too far away from them. You can no longer push the Warden when it is in the middle of emerging or digging. So let's go ahead and summon it in. As you can see, I was unable to push it another block further. This is also the case if the Warden digs back into... when you hit it. You probably just saw it, but the Warden has a new attack. That's the big change today. Oh wow, that's weird, probably because of the sunset, but yeah. So, the Warden has a new attack that makes it pretty much impossible to cheese. So let's just hear me, and let's go into this hole, which you would think would work. It always did, but if we stay here for the right amount of time, it will do something amazing. Just watch. This is also the case for pillaring up super high like I am. Like more than 4 blocks where it can reach you. So if we just make more noise, it should notice us, which it is, but now it is angry. And if we stay up here for a little while, it cannot reach us, but that is what you think. And if we just stay put, it should eventually do its sonic range. It can basically do this range attack anywhere that the Warden cannot reach, so I'm out of range of where it can from where it can hit me, so eventually it will do that. Awesome, you can no longer choose the Warden. Fantastic. But you might think that just works for players, like some things in Minecraft do. But no. Let's say we had a flying mob, and we had the Warden. If the Allay continues to fly, the Warden will notice. And if it... oh, is it not going to fly high up? I think it... okay, try not to go to the floor, stay up there. If the Allay stays up there for a while, the Warden will eventually do its ranged attack. Which it did. We love to see a harder Warden, but the attack may look very cool, but let's take a closer look at the animation. So let's go into survival, and it noticed me because I'm very close to where it sniffed, and if we maybe punch it, it should be mad at me. It did not roar, but I think it is, so let's just go into F1, turn off the microphone, and see the animation. Yeah, so I looked at it myself, and it seemed hard to see because it kind of pushed me against the stone, so it blocked the animation. But I can just tell you, or you can just watch other YouTubers who obviously made the Warden attack them this way as well. But I will still tell you anyway. So basically, it just like opens up the bone part of its chest, and then those sonic pulses come out of the chest. And I think the souls in its chest still stay inside. Anyway, how about you just look at my skin? It very much resembles the Warden. And you see that little big soul in my chest? Yeah, so I think that stays in the Warden's chest when it does the animation attack. And the bones, like pretty much trapping the souls, opens up to let out the attack. So I hope that explains. Okay, now let's talk about that new biome that was actually added in the last snapshot, but this snapshot is still here and it had some changes. So this is the mangrove swamp right here, and these are the trees. Seems like the mud does go underwater, like some people were suggesting. And when the mangrove roots emerge with mud, it turns into the muddy mangrove roots. And they all come in different sizes, the trees that is. But as of this snapshot, the newest one, they seem to be mostly taller than shorter, like I guess this one right here. They grow propagules on top. You can get these in survival. Vines too, nice green, lush color. And this one really generated very high up, because it's next to a shattered savanna, so, or windswept savanna as it is now called. And yeah, look how tall they can get, mud everywhere. And mud also is the surface of this biome, and it goes all the way down to the stone layer. And it is mostly water, lily pads. You also get let's get a frog. In this biome, you'll find naturally spawning white frogs. And the orange frogs still spawn in the normal swamp biome. That makes it where only the cold frog, the green frog, is the only frog that is not able to spawn naturally. The mangrove swamp biome tends to generate next to warmer biomes like the normal swamp does. So that does indeed mean you can get the mangrove swamp and the normal swamp biome next to each other in most cases. Also, the sun is setting, so we should be able to see what types of hostile mobs spawn here. Spoiler alert, the normal hostile mobs, including slime. So yeah, we get slime spawning here, kind of like we should. And the watercolor here is different from the normal swamp. Let's actually show how deep the mud goes. I said stone layer, but let me just show you. So, one. Huh. Weird. Let's try somewhere else. Oh, right, yeah. This is really hard to traverse. You can also use your new mangrove boat with a chest to go through here too. Yeah, this is definitely the point of the wild update, to have, like, it feels so alive. So I think the mangrove swamp is the main part of the update, considering the fact that it is now in the Panorama. And apparently get tropical fish here too. That's probably because of the lukewarm ocean. Oh yeah, here's a nice river right here. I think the slime only spawn in a certain moon event, like in the normal spawn. Or the normal swamp, I meant to say. I have no idea why I said spawn, but anyway, as you can see here, if you can see, I kind of just lagged, you get mud that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks deep. And yeah, then there is stone. So no dirt in this biome, except for, I guess, sometimes. Yeah, the reason they made the mud deeper than 1 block, like it was in the last snapshot, was because it looked weird on hills, like over there. And let's stay in this biome real quick to see if we see any hostile mobs. And the only passive mobs that spawn here is the tropical frog and bees. Bee nests sometimes spawn here, but of course, with my luck, not really seeing any bees here. And you get a lush cave exclusive block now on top of some of the root. Oh, how embarrassing. I was on peaceful. No wonder I saw nothing. Alright, we're on hard mode now. Now let's see if we can get any slimes here. I do know for a fact they do spawn here. The only difference from this biome to the normal swamp is you get no witch huts here. So that is a bummer, but data packs these days can make that possible, so maybe you and me can create that and make the mangrove swamp what it should be. Perhaps there are no bees in this one because it is rather small. So, but trust me when I say slimes and bees can spawn here. And if we are still getting the firefly mob, I assume they will spawn. Oh, I found some slime. Oh, and the frog might eat the tiny ones. Let's see. Will you eat it? Can I eat them while swimming? Probably. Oh, yep, there you go. Yeah, luckily we get frog food inside the frog's habitat. but it seems like they have trouble traversing because of all the roots. Speaking of all the roots, I wonder how you will be able to chop these down. You're gonna have to break the roots. Actually, this one is pretty tall. But yeah. It does seem like it will be hard to reach the best part of the tree. So I actually found a much, much bigger mangrove swamp biome, and just to prove that there are no witch huts here, let's try to locate one. So, it's actually called a swamp hut, but we all call it witch hut. So, it is not that far away. You think it might be in the mangrove swamp, right? Well, once we load in, we should be seeing that we actually just got teleported to a normal swamp biome, which indeed we did. As you can see, this is the normal swamp, and we have a witch hut here, and if there was a witch hut in a mangrove swamp biome, it would have took us to that one instead, since we were just in the mangrove swamp. Oh, yep, and as you can see, perfect example, we got both of the swamp biomes right next to each other. Actually, let's see if we can find a bee, now that we have found a bigger, better mangrove swamp biome that is not as hilly. You can also get bee nests from just growing the mangrove tree. Also, bees like to pollinate on the propagules. So that is how they get their pollen when they spawn in this biome. You're not seeing any bees. Oh yep, 100% tropical fish do spawn here now. And of course the white frogs. Oh wow, this is actually a nice area right here. Oh man, I really hope we still get fireflies. Finally, I found some bees. Alright, right here we got bees. You still get bees here, it just does not seem to be as common as I thought it was. So currently in the mangrove swamp biome, you get slime, bees, white frogs, tropical fish, and every single hostile mob that spawns in the nighttime. And this bee is just having a good time on this leaf. But yeah, that is basically everything about the mangrove swamp. This must be the most real-life feeling biome in Minecraft. I mean, I am not even traversing it properly, I'm flying around, but with survival in a boat or just walking and swimming, yeah, it feels so wilderness-like. And apparently you can put lily pads on here? Oh! Maybe because the roots are waterlogged. Alright, yeah, this is a amazing biome, but I think that is everything that we need to talk about it. And yeah. Actually, let me show you what the propagules can now do. Propagule more. Propagules can only be placed on dirt and maybe mud, I think? Let's see. Yes, they can be placed on mud, and instead of them growing into oak trees, they now grow properly into the mangrove tree. As you can see here, also looks weird when it just jumps out of the block. But yeah, look at these. These might be the tallest trees in Minecraft, apart from the tall jungle ones and the tall spruce ones. But you can also grow them underwater, and they can be placed on clay, dirt, or mud, but not on sand. Although they have to be, like, placed in water like that. They cannot go any deep. Okay, maybe they actually can. Let's see. Oh yeah, they can go deeper, so never mind what I just said. And you can also, of course, grow them underwater too. This is probably why we got that waterlogged leaf parody in a couple snapshots. Wandering traders now trade a new item. If it would let me trade. They now trade mangrove propagules for 5 emeralds. You can now plant big drip leaf, bamboo, sugarcane, and dead bushes on top of mud. Although it's not working on the mud, probably because it needs to be next to water, so let's try that again. Yep, there you go. Allays now have a natural health regen of 2 health per second. So basically just meaning it can regenerate its health like us, the players, can do. So I feel like the Allay is like just a ghost of a player because, I don't know, just it can regenerate now? Awesome. Oh, let me just take that back now. Let's now talk about the new advancements that have been added in this snapshot and the last. Sneak 100. Sneak near a Sculk sensor, Sculk Shrieker, or Warden to prevent it from hearing you. A new advancement in the Husbandry tab: when the squad hops into town, get each frog variant on a lead. That would be all 3 frog colors. You got a friend in me, have an Allay deliver items to you, simple enough. And then you got another Allay advancement, which is a challenge called Birthday Song. Have an Allay drop a cake and a note block. And of course, with every new overworld biome, the Mangrove Swamp is a part of the Adventuring Time advancement, now making it where you need to find all 52 overworld biome. There has also been some spelling correction for some of the older 1.19 advancements, such as its spreads. And finally, the darkness effect is now a part of the How Did We Get Here advancement. If you want to read about the technical changes and other bug fixes that I did not cover in this video, you can find the changelogs of these snapshots in the Minecraft launcher. Okay, that is everything in this snapshot, and of course the last snapshot too. I hope you were okay with me reviewing 2 snapshots in one video. Again, sorry for the last snapshot last week, but it is here now. Also, maybe tropical fish do spawn here. No lukewarm ocean nearby, right? Yeah, I guess that was a secret change. I did not see it in the changelog. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like on it, and also subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. 22W15A seems to be more of a smaller snapshot that they're not really adding like new mobs or blocks, so that probably means we are close to the final release of 1.19, the Wild Update. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.